Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into the escalating tension between South Africa and Rwanda, both of which are playing significant roles in the ongoing conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. It's a complicated and controversial issue that's been getting a lot of attention. So let's break it down. Now, the DRC has been dealing with armed conflict for decades, particularly in its eastern region. This conflict has involved multiple rebel groups, international interventions, and of course, regional politics. One of the key players today is the M23 rebel group, which has been wreaking havoc in eastern DRC for years. But here's where it gets really interesting. Rwanda and South Africa are at odds over how to handle this situation. So, what's the situation? The DRC, Rwanda, and South Africa are all involved, but in very different ways. Rwanda is accused of supporting the M23 rebel group, which is causing widespread violence in eastern DRC. On the other hand, South Africa is leading a regional military intervention known as the Southern African Development Community Mission in the DRC, or SAMI-DRC. Let's start with Rwanda. The government there has faced accusations of backing the M23 rebels. Rwanda denies these claims, but many in the international community, including the United Nations, have pointed fingers at Rwanda for fueling the conflict in the DRC. The M23, which is largely composed of ethnic Tutsis, is reportedly fighting the DRC government for control of territory, and their presence has been devastating to the local population. Rwanda's involvement is said to be partly driven by the desire to secure its own borders and prevent the spillover of violence. As for the DRC, the M23's presence has led to massacres, displacement of civilians, and an overall breakdown of security. Despite these atrocities, Rwanda argues that it is simply acting in its national interest, as there are fears that Rwanda could be attacked by militant groups operating out of the DRC. Now let's talk about South Africa. South Africa's involvement in the DRC is part of a broader effort by the Southern African Development Community, or SADC, to stabilize the region. In May 2023, South Africa, along with Malawi and Tanzania, deployed troops to the DRC as part of a peacekeeping mission aimed at supporting the Congolese government. This intervention focuses on combating armed groups, including the M23, and protecting civilians. But here's where things get heated. Rwanda, which is seen as a strong regional power, opposes the South African-led mission. They argue that this mission, and specifically South Africa's involvement, undermines regional cooperation and unity. In Rwanda's view, South Africa's intervention is not only unhelpful, but could also fuel further tensions between the two countries. So why is Rwanda so upset? Well, it's all about regional influence and politics. South Africa has positioned itself as a leader of the SADC and has close ties to countries in southern Africa. Rwanda, meanwhile, has its own alliances and interests in the Great Lakes region. The idea of a foreign power coming in and leading a military operation in an area Rwanda considers its sphere of influence doesn't sit well with them. The political tension is also compounded by the historical relationship between South Africa and Rwanda. While both countries are part of the African Union and other regional organizations, their foreign policies have often diverged. South Africa has been more focused on promoting stability through multilateralism, while Rwanda has tended to pursue more direct and interventionist approaches. So what does this all mean for the people of the DRC? Well, the conflict continues to have a devastating impact. The M23's violent actions have displaced millions of people and made it nearly impossible for humanitarian aid to reach those who need it most. South Africa's mission aims to protect civilians and help restore order, but without broader regional cooperation, it's hard to see how peace can be achieved. The situation is further complicated by the fact that international peacekeeping forces, like the UN's MONUSCO mission, are also still in the DRC. However, They have faced criticism for being ineffective, and the Congolese president, Felix Tshisekedi, has even asked them to leave, citing their inability to maintain security. And this brings us to the big question: can peace ever be achieved in the DRC? The answer is complicated. Both Rwanda and South Africa are heavily invested in the outcome of the conflict, but their differing approaches raise doubts about the future of the region. The real question is whether both countries can find common ground, or if the DRC will continue to be a battleground for regional power struggles. At the end of the day, the people of the DRC are the ones suffering most. What they need is not just military intervention, but also long-term peace and stability. The road to peace will require political dialogue, cooperation between regional players, and above all, a commitment to ending the violence. So, what do you think? Can South Africa and Rwanda come to an agreement? Or will this conflict continue to escalate? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video informative. We'll keep you updated on this situation as it develops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.